There we go. Good morning. How you doing, Chad? Who else we have with us today? All right. First and foremost, I'm gonna see where the markets are. Kind of give us a gauge on what we can expect going into today. Looks like the SPY gapped down this morning about $2 or so. Currently in OS status or oversold status, so I expect that to bounce back for us a little bit going into today. I think I saw something first thing I woke up about stimulus checks coming. I'm looking into that now to see how true that is. Still getting kind of set up here. I woke up a little late. I don't know about you guys, but morning, Justin. How you doing? Yeah, I'm gonna see. I won't be sharing. I'm thinking about not sharing the stream this morning and seeing how many people actually are dedicated. How many people actually join in on their own first before I do. So a little slower rolling this morning. I am gonna have it set up to share it if I need to. Investments. We are going to be going over some of the trades that we looked over the weekend. I think I had a request for Snowflake to be added to the list. We'll be doing that. Let's go ahead and get that in there and we can review the trade. Snowflake's a good company. Actually look forward to reviewing it. We have somebody else in here with us this morning. If you would, let me know who I'm speaking to so I can address you properly. If y'all have any more stocks we want to add to the list, let me know to review. We could do that. Getting started a little bit later myself, so if you could bear with me. While I do that. Alright, there we go. One last step and we can move forward. Looks like we got some loyal followers jumping in here with us. Haven't even shared the stream just yet. Glad to see that. I appreciate y'all for taking the time to come join us. I hope you were able to see our Saturday's coffee and stock session, even if you weren't able to join us during the stream. We added some stocks to our list. That's what I think we'll keep doing moving forward, is just keep adding to the watch list. And that way we can track these trades and kind of, learn from our mistakes at the same time, because that's what it's about, to improve our trading. That's what we're focused on here. So I think it'll be a good idea to just continue building a watch list and seeing how things work based on our analysis, if that makes any sense. Let's see, we want to add SFTW. I'll go ahead and look at some of these that we are requesting now, so that you don't have to wait too long to look at them. I see we got some more people in here with us. If you would, please Drop a trade in the chat if you want to review it going into today's session. I want to do those first since they're newer stocks. As you can see, my watch list over here has most of the ones that we have talked about. If you see one missing, feel free to let me know and I'll add it. We had a member request Snowflake, so we're going to look at what it's currently doing. Overall, solid company. As you can see, it broke out to 429 at its high, but it has since consolidated. And if I'm correct, we're well under our 50% retracement level from what it looks like there. Just a quick glimpse. CLSN, okay. Let's see, CLSN. Okay. But looking at Snowflake, I think it's a pretty strong entry point, long-term growth stock that you can get into here. Let's see, we'll get into a little more. We're going to start getting into a little more detail about like really researching the companies if we have the time to on our Saturday sessions, with the markets being closed, with us only having 30 minutes to an hour every morning. I'd rather hold our research to the end of the week, even if we have to take a little bit longer time in those sessions. And then, that way we're better prepared going into the week and we can follow the trade. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I would like to start adding more and more information to these as we go. So we can learn how to do research together and stuff like that. Rejection to rejection. Looks like we have a potential bull flag going on here with Snowflake. I think we're going to see a compression zone right here as long as it sticks true to this bottom trend here. We could see a potential breakout back to the upside, but even in that instance of breaking out, I would say we would either need to get above the 34.1 or the 341 up to the 350. That's probably a good load up zone, as long as you're able to confirm that trend to the upside. I mean, wouldn't necessarily say right now is a bad entry point with this being at its lower values, but you want to confirm the trend. Otherwise we could trade sideways and your money's just sitting here. I'm not saying that it wouldn't break out or anything like that, but just don't miss one opportunity focused on another. Solely focused on another is what I mean by that. But looks like we're trading between the 267 and 336. We broke out a little bit after we retested it here, but apparently found a strong rejection. It consolidated. I know this stock just IPO'd not too long ago. It's fresh on the market. Just came out September 20th, where it initially broke out to the 318 on its debut, consolidated a little bit. This is actually a better consolidations that I've seen on some IPOs. It's actually been one of the top performing IPOs this year. Great company. We can actually go into more in more depth on it with news releases and things of that sort. So looking for this to break out and at least retest that 336 price level. Of course, if you've been here, excuse me, it's a mobile app I'm working on for the website, but if you've been here before, you know how we focus on identifying our key levels. Ultimately, first and foremost, just to know what trading range or price range that we're trading in, and then we kind of can base our thesis off of that. And then you start adding these patterns in here, and you kind of understand where the compression points are a little bit better within that price range. So like I said, I'm slowly going to be adding piece by piece to these sessions of different things that we can account for to help make better decisions on entries and when we can possibly find a better entry and when we can confirm the move at the same time, whether it's to the upside or the downside. I'm going to be focused on breakouts and pullbacks. And when I refer to a pullback, of course, I'm talking about consolidation to the downside, which is never a bad thing. It's just a better entry point. So that's what I'm looking for, is a breakout here over the next week or so to the upside there, where we will potentially be actually the 23rd, which is my birthday, tomorrow, if my memory stands correct. I'm just not waking up, so excuse me. But looking at tomorrow, this could break out back to the 336. I mean, still has some nice gains, close to about $50 to the upside per share. But I love Snowflake just overall as a growth stock. And if you haven't researched the company, feel free to do so. We will be working to build up our due diligence database. If you have any information you want to add about a particular stock, don't hesitate to ask me any questions, whether it's reaching out to me on Facebook or Twitter or wherever we're connected at, Discord, and getting instruction on how to utilize our due diligence database, and contribute to the community as well together. But moving forward, let's look at SFTW. Broke out here over the past almost 5 days, four trading sessions, excuse me. Broke out to the 1725, about that area. It's an Acquistion, Osprey Tech Acquisition Corp. I need to do some research on the company to see what they're focused on. I'm gonna identify that level there. I'm gonna start where this gap up is, but you also have to keep in mind where it originally was, because one thing to keep in mind about SPACs is that they have that initial merger news breakout, and then they have that strong pullback. It's something I've experienced personally, is all I'm saying. So be careful of this. Justin, do you currently have a position in this trade, or is this just something you wanted to look at and see the momentum in it and make a better determination on a potential entry? Same with CLSN. Justin, Shad, if you could let me know if you already have a position in it or if you're just looking to make one. I'm going to adjust that based on that right there. I know that it broke out to the 1732s here, but found that strong rejection at the $16 price level. So that's where I'm going to lay my level of resistance, just so you understand how I'm looking at it. I want to lay my horizontal price levels where the candlestick is still solid, and keep in mind the potential for additional breakout. Yeah, all right, cool. Just looking at it. I'm going to bring in my indicators here. I know sometimes this can be confusing to some, but it's currently showing pullback on the 1 hour. As you can see, that initial breakout put it in overbought status, so the consolidation and pullback is expected. You have profit takers coming into play, utilizing or scalping the fact, utilizing the fact that they can scalp some of those profits while still letting this run. It jumped almost $5 currently. $6, but currently still $5 up. I don't have a position in it, but getting fast tracked by FDA, looking to maybe jump in it. Yeah, I'm pulling up my TDA so that I can do some research on the company now. While we're sitting here talking, I think I may have, yeah, there we go. So what was that symbol again? SFTW. Osprey Acquisition Corp. Fundamentally, looking at the company, I'm not too happy with those EPS numbers, but it's not really reporting much, so I'm not going to depend on them either. Let's go back to when it broke out, which was the 18th, right? And start from there and kind of do some research on why it broke out. Black Sky, leading real-time geospatial intelligence, imagery, and data analysis or analytics company to list on New York Stock Exchange through a merger with Osprey. I would look into Black Sky a little bit more. I'm guessing that they don't have a under the new ticker. Okay, so BS. See if it's on the market already. It is not. So let's go to FTW, and what I'll do is I'll open up a tab here. We can kind of detail what the company is and get a little more better idea. Black Sky Holdings. If you're saying anything in the comments right now, I'm not currently looking at those. I have everything pulled up so we can research this. Global monitoring, so low Earth orbit. Sounds like satellites. That's what we're looking at here. Let's see what their products are. To get an idea of what they do. Critical insights, perspective is everything. Yeah, small sat constellation. We can revisit locations up to 5 or 6 times per day. Our monitoring capabilities enable you to have real-time insights into activities in areas near you. Sounds like a more or so of a security monitoring. I mean, low orbit, digital imagery. This could basically be a government play, in my opinion. That's who would utilize this the most. I don't see multiple offerings, black site monitoring, AI and ML, machine learning. If you don't know what the ML stands for, market business and geospatial intelligence enhanced by black sky imagery, amplify your insights. Same thing we read a minute ago. I'm really gonna have to do my DD on how they're planning on utilizing this a little bit more in depth before I go into those types of details. And what I'll do is with these companies moving forward that you add to the list, also what I'll do is if I'm not familiar with the stock already, I will go in and do a dedicated video to it with some DD included, and just all the information I can find to at least give you a better idea on the trade. I know that you're probably looking at this real time and hoping to jump in this based on the SPAC and its movement. Currently showing pullback on the 1 hour still, as you can see on my MACD. We're oversold. This could bounce we're overbought. We were overbought. We're coming below those stress levels. This could bounce back above those overbought levels before actually consolidating and pulling back. And if it does, then you can see this kind of retrace to maybe the 1397 to the 50% retracement levels before it probably consolidates strong there and finds support, continues moving to the upside. But what I like to do before I make that statement is I always review the stock on the lower time frames to kind of get an idea of how it's reacting down there. And as you can see, the EMAs were going red here to say a pullback was coming, but this is more so of a consolidation, a healthy consolidation, and now it's currently going green and trading above those EMAs going into pre-market today. Now, anytime you're analyzing anything in pre-market, I want you all to keep in mind that market open can slaughter whatever progress you make in pre-market. So keep a very close eye on this going into pre-market. But this actually performs very well on market open, as you can see the last few days, at least ever since it announced this news, which shows some very bullish sentiment on the stock. People have good faith in it. The fact that it's able to rocket up, almost a whole dollar in market open as soon as the market opens. So I'm not saying that just because it did it here that it's going to occur this morning. Just pay very close attention to it. It has received fast track designation from the FDA for Gen 1 is DNA mediated immunotherapy currently in phase 2. Oh, that's all right. That's the next stock we're going to be looking at. But let's see how we react. Just to go ahead and wrap this up a little bit. Let's see how we react to that $16 price level. As you can see, we're having some strong resistance there and staying above it. The news might already be priced into it. Now, how many people are aware of this stock and how many people are interested in it? I'm interested in it just based off of what it's focused on. But I'm gonna do my DD first. So I'm not saying this can't go up. I'm not putting that on record. I'm just saying watch how it opens and market open. Once the market opens. Let's look at CLSN, and thank you for providing that DD on why it broke out, Shad. I really appreciate that. That makes it a lot easier. If everybody else could do that, that'd be great. Also, we have more viewers in here. If you would, please let us know if you have any additional trades you want to look at, and I'll add them to the list. We'll look at those first, so you don't have to wait. Yeah, just watch and look for a better entry if you can too. Just see how it reacts to those price levels we defined. I want to make sure you have those tied down, your key levels there. And that's anywhere between like a smaller key level to pay attention to would be this 1475, even if it retraces back below $15. And no, you're gonna do it. I was waiting for you to hop on here, Michael. I was waiting for you to get in here, buddy. Anyways, we need DD on the SFTW Osprey. 1475, just intraday, watch out for that. And see how it reacts to those levels between $14.75 and $16. If it goes below $14.75, I see this retracing back to the 13.32 or 42. I'm sorry. Okay, just keep those in mind when watching it if you want to set like alerts and stuff on it. All right, CLSN. From what Shad provided with us, it received FDA fast track designation for its Gen 1 DNA mediated. I can't say that second word. You guys can see it in the chat. Is this focused on cancer? Is that what I'm understanding? Or is it something else? I'm going to do my own research on it while we're here. CLSN. Why are you not tied to the rest of the stuff? CLSN. Let's get everything shaped up. Of course, this being a pharma company, you're not going to see very good fundamentals because they're putting a lot of their money that they acquired through, investments that they receive into the company, into research, of course. So you're not always going to see good fundamentals starting out with some of these pharma companies that are, lower than $1 or between the $1 to $5 price range. It's when they actually hit manufacturing, distribution, and then maturity growth. I always find the interest in them, unless, of course you can find an entry in it right now at a low price point and hold on to it forever. So it's all based on your strategy too. Like you have to be careful in what you take from what I say. What I was just speaking to is long term. Now, if you're expecting to get an entry into something like this and hold it long term because you have the free capital to do so, I'm not saying no. That's a bad idea. I'm just speaking on it long term. Yeah, ovarian cancer. Okay, great. I have a personal attachment to getting those issues fixed. I lost family to cancer. I know that's a very common thing these days. Fast track allows for more frequent communication with the FDA, blah, blah, blah. We already know that. I'm just seeing if there's anything else that stands out outside of the initial news release, like this right here. Right, so it looks like we're going to have to do some DD on that, Mike. So current DD list is, doesn't let me press enter there. Anyways, I'm gonna keep on going. Does anybody else have anything else they want to review before we go back over our previous stocks? I'm gonna start building a DD list, and that way we can make sure we have it at the end, Mike. But anyway, so looking at this morning's breakout for CLSN, first, I'm going to always identify my key levels, and it looks like it's broken out even higher than where it's currently at, which is a good signal, bullish signal, that it is retesting higher and higher levels. I would be interested to know why it broke out to 387 on the 11th. If we can take some time to look back into the news, issues letter to stakeholders, stockholders, further details on the company's vaccine initiative using its Plaxine DNA vaccine platform for preventing and treating. Sounds like the company has a few different things going on. Very strong then. I like any pharma company that's small, that has multiple things going on, although that does take a lot of liquidity up front, which can cause some type of debt, or it depends on how they're raising their funds. Too, is something to pay attention in making that type of consideration. How are they making their funds, and what are they putting it on, and how are they managing that? Go along with what are they trying to deliver to market. Not just the fact that they're releasing something new to market, but how are they managing it? You can use the fundamental analysis to kind of gauge that. That is one thing you can use a fundamental analysis for with a company that's pre-production, pre-manufacturing, basically in clinical trial stages. I typically focus on companies that have at least 3 different clinical trials going on. That way, your percentage rate of getting something right is much better. You're not just solely focused on one thing, or even if you are, you have 3 different methods of trying to tackle the issue, which actually, picks up the likelihood that they'll get it right. Last week was not a good week to do DD since nothing coincided with the stock movements due to the bond issues and the weather. Yeah. Cool. Agreed. Last week was weird to me. And I think for a lot of people in our free chat group on Facebook, our Discord chat and stuff like that. Hopefully this week will be a little more structured and OBM. Cool. That works. But back to what I was saying, you can use the fundamentals to kind of base and gauge how the company's managing their money while going through the clinical trial stages, and better give you an idea of what to expect when they handle their money later in distribution, manufacturing, and maturity growth. And maturity growth is hidden market, and kind of you'll see that spike and then that settling. If you have ever looked at it, look at the lifeline of a business to understand what stage you're in with these new businesses coming to market. And that'll it's a business management style of learning, but it applies to understanding the fundamentals of the companies you're investing in now. So like a lot of people just focus on like studying charts and stuff like that, but I think you really need to have a business, some type of relative business knowledge to understand the processes of how these companies are migrating through the markets. Anyways, looking at this to get straight to the trade and its current trend analysis, as you can see, had some problems here at the 279 levels, consolidated pretty strong. I would like to see what the fib retracement level on this was before I move forward to see how it reacts to its 50%. And as you can see, it actually had issues where it dropped below the 50% retracement, and that became resistance, but it found strong support on the 23% retracement level before bouncing above that 50%, and that's where we started seeing this breakout. Of course, the company announced here, I gave the shareholders an update on what to expect with the company moving forward, and that allowed the stock to break out to this 387 level. Before once again consolidating back and finding support on the 50% retracement level, which is strong bullish signals here that I want to identify. I'll kind of blow this up so you guys can kind of see this a little better. Let's pull this out where that's all we see. And as you can see, let me make sure it's kind of clear for you all. A little bit too far, but pay attention to how it reacted to this fib. This is called a Fibonacci retracement analysis for those who may not be aware. And how you do it, if you have not done it before, is I typically do it backwards. So I start from the breakout, the top breakout point that it was at, and then I go down to the last time it was rejected, which was decline in the stock price that led into the breakout. All right, but you see how well the price action correlates with this Fibonacci retracement level. And I wish I could take out everything else, but if I hide my indicators, it's gonna get rid of everything. I can do this right here to help you out. I use all these indicators because they show me strong signals and momentum. These are the EMAs, these green levels. This is my intraday bar volume. This tells me whether people are buying or selling. With the volume movements that we see, just give you an idea of what we're looking at. A lot of people are like, what is all this on the screen? It's just indicators to let me know what we're doing. But if we were to look just at the stock price, doing very well, very strong stock here, I think, honestly, as far as correlating with its key levels. What I would look for moving forward in the stock, though, is just one that stands out to me ultimately. As you can see now, the new fib retracement, 50% fib retracement level is 284. And that's based off this 387 breakout. Let's make sure that it stays above those levels. And as you can see, it actually found support on the 278. 284 is about right here. I'm using 279 as a key level of support because that was the last time it broke out. Or the very first time it broke out, that's where it found resistance. And I'm looking for that to become a key level of support moving forward. As some of you may know, my strategy with this. But I'm going to bring back in my indicators to show me the current momentum on a lower time frame. As you can see, we have a gap down, but I feel like what this is going to do is either it's going to gap down to fill this gap between this top 13 EMA before moving forward, or I feel like it's going to trade sideways until this EMA hits that 279 level and bounces out, if that makes sense. So that's something to watch for. Market open is always something to be cautious of. So we're just kind of trying to identify those levels ahead of market open so we know what to expect going into it. But this might take some time to actually fill that consolidation period. That pullback, gap fill is what they call it, before it does and continues moving higher to retest the 387. Do you currently have a position in it? Is my next question. Shad. It's always key. I don't have a position in it, but it's getting fast tracked. Okay. All right. Maybe looking at jumping in. All right. So let's see how it reacts to those 279 levels. Let's see if it breaks down below that and finds support above this 13 EMA. What I will do is, just to help you out, alert on that. I'll set an alert myself, and if it does, then I can do a quick review on it. See it within the middle of the day. CLSN hits top EMA. And I wanted to do it every time, so that way, once per bar. That way, if it's going up or down, it'll let me know. But as you can see, it's kind of picking up a little bit, going back to the upside there. I thought it was going to keep coming down. As you see, it keeps going red and such. Anyways, we'll keep an eye on it with you. That's what this is about. We get this watch list, we go down the watch list and continue following the trades as we go, so we can identify the levels that we do every day and see how the stock reacts, so you can learn how to use that to gauge your trades. I will start keeping a log. I'm building a module in the website to start keeping a log for our price targets that we're looking at, the high and low price targets, and learning how well the stock works between those two price targets. And then maybe I can present that to you all as far as the results, and then we can basically put together like a scorecard on how well we're doing with getting together, having these coffee and stock sessions, and basically finding these opportunities, how we're playing these opportunities, how well they're working for us. So go back down the list. I want to look back at the markets and see how we're reacting. As I said earlier, I assumed that we were going to see a rebound off of those 87, lower 86, 87 levels. And as you can see, we're seeing those signs because it was currently in a OS status or oversold. I see this going back to the green side. I wouldn't have an issue, potentially buying some calls on this. I heard something about news from Stimulus checks coming out. I'm not sure. I really don't think the market's going to care too much. I think just based off, and what I mean by that is that the trend itself is going to bring the stock back up. As you can see, overall, based on how the SPY is currently moving, we're seeing an EMA crossover potentially happening. And the last time that occurred, you could see the market pulled back. And I've been warning about this market pullback for some time because I'm watching these EMAs compress. Now, what could happen is the EMA, just like right here, where it was starting to pull back, can bounce back up. And if you look at the selling volume in there, we're seeing the same type of signal. So this could actually bounce back to the upside and jump almost $12. So keep an eye on that, and if it does, then we would potentially be retesting 400 on the SPY. But I'm going to be watching this closely. Looking at it on the 1 hour kind of gives you a more detailed look in its current momentum and what occurs. You see this right here. I'm not sure how small it is on your screen if you're watching on a phone or anything, but this is what I call an EMA crossover to the downside. And typically when the 1 hour starts to turn fully red, we have a pullback. So that's something to keep in mind here. Not always. I'm just saying to be aware of it. And if it pulls back, then you're going to see some reds across the board. And some people find that as a buying opportunity. Some people panic sell. And that's one thing that concerns me is when people panic sell. Now, I don't want to say to not be concerned. But a key level we have to get above that's just standing out to me just from glancing at the chart right now is right here at the 78.51s, which has been support all the way up since February 5th. And I would like to see how the SPY has reacted to those levels before. It's never been this high. I thought it's been higher than this. No. So going back a little bit in, key level of support was the 387. I'm sorry. Still waking up. Need more coffee. Anyways, we need to see how it reacts to this going forward. If it gets rejected market open, we could see a pullback to probably 382 levels. Futures a week going into, I actually have a gauge for the U.S. markets, for the international markets, and from what it's showing me, we're having a pullback day. All markets are red in the U.S. International markets are red also, which is not good for the U.S. markets. The VIX is up almost 9%. It's a -1 score, as you can see. Crude is up. Copper is up. When you see copper up, it's a hedge against the markets being down. And then the Australian dollar compared to the Japanese dollar, or whatever they call it, I think it's the yen, is -1.45%, which gives us an overall score of -1% pullback overall markets. Basically tells me that the markets are going to come down a little bit today based on pre-market. But what this thing does for me is I should have tracked it yesterday so I can see how it reacted from last night's movement when it opened at 7 o'clock. Central time, that is, by the way. But what it will do as I go through the day is it tells me how the markets are fluctuating up or down, so I can gauge performance on the overall markets to make decisions in the smaller sectors. What I want to do is actually identify the sectors in each individual index on the U.S. market, so we can see what sectors are actually performing. Of course, most of your apps that you use will let you, get that information on the fly. I just like my own information so that I can display it in the way that works for me. But yeah, you're right, Mike. Futures are looking pretty weak today. We're going to see almost 0.5% plus, or 0.5% down across all markets currently. With the NASDAQ being strongest pullback, as you can see here, which means your tech companies are going to be a little lower going into the day. So something to keep in mind, keep your mind on. But I'll be gauging this throughout the day. I'll be trying to give updates. I'm not sure where you guys are connected with us at. Be sure to connect with us on our social media platforms so you can get those updates as we go through the day as well. Let's see. It takes a few minutes for it to pull up because I have a cache on it. It's pulling so much data. But anyways, that's what we're watching for with the SPY, is how it reacts. And we're currently trading above that 38, 387. I keep saying 38. I'm still waking up, sorry guys. But it's currently trading above at 387.51 level. Only 7 cents up though. We could potentially see a pullback. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's actually going to pull back below those levels. Even though it's headed up, momentum signals are showing me that it's pulling back. RSI is high on the 1 minute. That is the 1 minute at least. Let's look at the 5. This EMA is critical right here. That is the 34 EMA. And typically when you see a pullback, as you can see, it'll hit that 34 and it'll rebound down. Same as going up too most of the time. It'll hit that 34 or it'll compress to the 34 and bounce out. So this indicator is very strong. While I always have it on my charts because it shows me, okay, even though we're seeing a reversal, that reversal can actually fake out and break back down. That's why I use these EMAs. And I use it in this manner to kind of give me that idea. So what I want to see is whether or not the SPY is going to hit about 387.82 and then rebound. I'm going to go back down the list though, because we only have about 10 minutes to kind of see where some of these stocks are correlating. The only reason I have Tesla on here, oh my gosh, it's down to 259. And as you can see, I've been following this very hard for the simple fact that I said that Tesla last week was going to 768. People thought I was crazy. But anyways, I'm using this to gauge the EV market. Tesla is the market leader for the EV markets. If those are coming down, we can expect the rest to come down with it. As long as it is. As you can see, there's gap downs across the board. There's a gap down in the SPY, so you're going to expect a gap down everywhere else. I expect BLNK to bounce off this 44 level because that's where this volume profile shows us where most of the transactions were taken at a certain price point. So I'm seeing strong support right here, although it's actually dipped lower than it before finding that true support and rebounding in stock price or price action. So I'm looking at it to possibly have a re-entry in the $44 price ranges before moving back to the 49s and even to the 50s, 60s. Now, that is all dependent upon how the markets are going into the rest of the day. If there's a strong pullback throughout this week, then those levels of support are more likely to be broken, but it's something to keep an eye on. So I actually was hoping to find support up here at the $49 price range on BLNK. As you can see, we lost that support. It dropped tremendously, $5 almost within a trading session. So we've been riding in this $44 to $49 price range, and I expect it to continue doing so as long as the market's pulling back and Tesla is pulling back. Just to add, 759 or 750. Yeah, 759 for Tesla is not a bad price, but it could pull back more. If the entire market's, now that it's in the S&P, you got to consider that now. It trades different. SNDL opened up, gap down just like everything else, and that's expected. Opened up at 144, had a nice run after hitting 122 at its low to the 171 levels and found that resistance. As you can see, it played very well with these levels of resistance that we identified on it at the 171. And even found more resistance at the 156. So we need to get above 156 and find the support up here now before we have any chance of breaking above 171 moving forward. A lot of people are saying this is a pump and dump. A lot of people saying this is a dead company. And that's fine. That's your personal opinion. But I still have faith in it based on the fundamentals. And I keep saying that. I'm not pumping this anymore. I have some calls on it. That's it. I don't have any equity stake in it. I just have some calls on it. So I'm only interested to see if my calls are right. But if we break above 171 and find support, then we're retesting the 228s. That's the next price range we need to get through. And then we'll be making our way to the $3 price range, which we actually have a $3.12 target on it ourselves. We have $1 calls on it too, so, and we have $1 calls going into March 19th, all the way, or March 19th, 2021, and then we have calls all the way up until January 2022. So we're good. Either way, theta's low, so we can sit here and wait for this all day. Some people have equity stakes and they're stressing from it. But the fact that 136 is a key level of support to the low side to keep in mind on SNDL, by the way. OEG actually performed for me. One of our members actually provided us with this. I'm not sure if it was Justin. I think it was Justin. Provided us with this stock. I actually made a call on it that morning and made like $200-300 on it. I can't remember what it was, but I was like, well, man, that's what's up. That's what this is about. As you can see, we broke our ascending channel that it was trading in, or trend line, whatever you would like to call it. Broke down to the downside on it, but we're trading in this sideways channel. And that's why we have that identified, so we are aware of that ahead of time. We need to find support on the 17, which if we do, great buying entry point for this stock going forward. I do want to identify one thing on the 4-hour, and I'm not sure if it's necessarily, yeah, it is. So it's 873. Yeah, it's much lower than that 50% retracement level. 730 is a 100% pullback from its most recent breakout to $11 from the 730 levels. Of course, as you can see, this thing's been going straight up. So over the past few weeks, from December 28th until now. Great stock though. I like it. Let's see how it reacts to that 710 before we move forward. Let's look at it on the 1 hour to kind of get an idea of what pre-market is caused on the EMAs. Currently oversold status, close to it if not, down here. So perfect buying opportunity here for a bounce back out to the upside. Looks like that trend level. This is why I don't do diagonal trends either, because you always got to make a new one. I made it wrong. So based on that, it's respected that more so than right here. I was just trying to get a more closer view on its current trend that it was on. So we're still looking at potentially 10 to 1080 price levels on this moving forward. Anywhere between 947 and 1089 would be the price range I'm targeting. Now, I'm not saying just because this trend line is showing that the stock is going to be potentially, 1142 at this time frame or 1112 at this time frame. I'm looking at the price range that it's going towards, and it's more likely to go into that price range than to a specific target. So what I would be looking for is at least the $10 here. But as you can see, a key level of resistance that's identified right here is 1009, $10. So even with that, you're looking at we're at 770, that's 130, 230, about 230 jump, which is almost close to 33% trade if you were to get into this. So I'm looking to buy options on it, potentially to the upside in order to capitalize on that $3 jump over the next month or so. Keep moving though. PRVB, we've been looking for this to rebound. We had some options on it. We had to close last week. Not too interested in the trade moving forward because it did not perform to my likeness. Of course, we had to close those with a loss. Currently showing signals back to the upside though. I had some good faith in it, but it pulled back on me. I can't remember when we pushed this as an alert. It pulled back on me and it's currently down like 10-20% since our initial alert. So I'm looking for an exit strategy versus even profiting on it. I know a lot of people are looking at Zomedica. I know a lot of YouTubers are talking about this and really pushing it to the crowds. I'm just going to stick to the trend analysis that I'm currently seeing. Of course, today we saw a pullback across the entire market. It's expected to see pullback here. We saw a slight gap down. It's only like 5 cents. That means it's very strong, bullish moving forward. Regardless, it's not necessarily acting are overreacting based on how the market's reacting to today, and whatever news may be coming out. Looking for it to start trading above this 235 level, though, moving into the rest of this week, somewhere around that looks like Wednesday, to be around this price range, and in between this price range, and that's between the 235 291. A lot of high expectations on it. As you can see, it's played very well with its current trend line. So moving there, even if we move up to this new price range of 235 to 291, we need to see it break above the 291, which you guys should be becoming familiar with this. Some of these things are, I can't even think of the word. I'm not awake all the way. I wouldn't say redundant, but self-explanatory. That's what we're looking for in the stocks moving forward, going into this week. So this is a great buy zone as long as it stays true to that what is that low level? Let's identify the low level. As long as we keep support above the 212, and I've been saying that this whole time. I think when we first reviewed this, I identified that level. It bounced and found support there that following week, and I was glad to see that because I knew a lot of people had some great expectations on it, and we're currently still above those levels, and I'm proud to say that. So if somebody bought an entry in this level, they were safe, and I'm glad we were able to lead them to a safe direction and outlook on the stock. Next one is NXTD. Had some strong pullback this morning, and that's concerning because it's basically reacting to how the market's reacting, and that's something to keep in mind moving forward with the stock. I'm going to look at it on the 4-hour first to kind of get an idea of why we identified the levels we identified. I'm going to pull out this purple level, and I'm going to pull out this blue level, and that gives us a clear idea of the price range we're trading in. Moving forward, make sure we don't break below 211s, even if we continue to see some pullback. Now, it looks like it's going with the markets, so be careful that the markets, if the markets continue going down, that it loses that support level solely off the fact that the markets are going down. And if it does, then re-entry would be anywhere between 113 and 150 because it'll pull back heavy once it loses support. Anytime a stock loses support at these levels, you'll see a strong downside trend. So that's the only reason I say between 113 and 150. And I'm identifying that based off of this rejection right here. Because that rejection became support right here. Keep going. DPW, another highly anticipated stock, currently trading at 628. I've constantly reminded everybody we need to stay. It broke this trend line, so I'm going to get rid of it. But I've constantly been trying to remind everybody that we need to stay above the 638. One of our members, Steven, actually recommended this stock to us. I made some money off of it going into it earlier. Why can I not get rid of that? Let me go in a little bit closer. I can. I don't even know why I put that there. It might have been a mistake. And let's go back to our 4-hour. Make sure we got our levels right. Looking good, looking good. Looks like this level was established based off of this trend. So it looks like that actually adjusted our 638 level that I initially had. But I still think 638 is a key level because of the fact that it's found strong support around those price ranges moving forward. And as you can see, it gapped down with the rest of the market. Also, I'm not sure. I think Bitcoin, yeah, it had a slight pullback from the 58. Not slight. I mean, we're down $6,000. But look for, this is what I want you to pay attention to when it comes to DPW or any crypto stocks that you are currently in. Look forward to find this support right here around the 52,640 and bounce back up to the upside. If it does, then the rest of those stocks that are Bitcoin plays will follow right behind it. So you might be seeing that type of gap down because of DPW. I mean, because of Bitcoin with DPW. And I think NXTD is a Bitcoin play. Mara, M-A-R-A, Riot, all Bitcoin plays. I have them on the list, I believe. I don't. I think no, I don't think Zom's a Bitcoin play. Anyways, the good thing about having these Bitcoin plays is you can watch Bitcoin throughout the weekend, and you can go ahead and identify where the stocks that you have positions in the stock market are going to be moving into the week. Now, Bitcoin's very volatile, and over the weekend you see we had this heavy breakout, but going into the week you see a lot of this profit taking coming into play. So you can buy in on something on Friday with expectations that Bitcoin's going to go up over the weekend, but then you have this pullback by Monday where we're right back where we started Friday morning. Makes sense? So the progress you made over the weekend could be lost before you can even access it pre-market, market open that following Monday. So be careful with doing stuff like that. But I'm just saying, if you really want a speed gauge to see where you're headed and how fast you're going there with these Bitcoin plays, watch Bitcoin. But the thing about it is that it's 24/7, so you have the ability to watch it all day. Anyways, moving forward though, we were on DPW. Like I said, you're seeing that pullback because not only the markets, but because of Bitcoin. Now we identified that. I was wrong in saying that it was just the markets. A lot of people hold Nokia, so that's the only reason I keep bringing it up. I actually had strong faith in Nokia myself. Had great earnings going into the beginning of the week, but just got dragged down. And it looks like it's getting dragged down further. I was hoping to find that strong support level above this 416, and I'll show you why here in a second. It broke those levels sometime, it looks about Tuesday or Wednesday, and it hasn't retested or went above them again. I identified that level because all the way back here, and I've been going through and just identifying these levels with this stock, but it has rejected all of them as far as showing support, and not a strong indicator long term. I've heard rumors of a buyout for this company, which wouldn't be a bad idea. They could actually probably use it. Let's see, get rid of that trend line and that trend line there, and then our horizontal level of 431. But that was my expectations for it, was out this strong breakout, this pump and dump, to find the support at least around those levels. But as you can see, it's almost 14 cents below that. Not going to harp on this one too low. I'm staying out of it. Long-term hold, though. I'm not going to say it's not. Just, yeah. I think I actually did the wrong ticker for this before. This is on an entirely different exchange, but it is on the American exchange under this. I need to fix that in our watch list so that this doesn't happen again. I think when we review this, I said to make sure that we found support above this 1656. It looks like it was going to retest those levels, but it's stuck true to the trend line, and we're going back to the 1914 unless we break trend within this process. I can't remember who recommended this stock, but definitely something to pay attention to. If you were to get into it right now, you're only looking at making like $1.14, just currently how it's trading, and that's short term, by the way, that I want to lay out. If you're looking for a swing trade on it, $1.14. If you're looking for a long-term investment, trend line is that. So something to pay attention to going into it. All right, so somebody said it looks like stimulus checks are passing and coming soon. Okay, so that might pull the markets back up. We will watch that throughout the week. But I am having a feeling that it's already priced in, but we'll see. All right, our ARCC, we only have a little bit of time left. I'm going to try to go through the whole list, but inflate the bubble. Still trading between these 1747 and 1873 levels, pretty much trading sideways. I think this is potentially a SPAC. My free chat's going nuts. I think this is a SPAC, and I really don't see this going too much higher than where it's at as of right now in the near future. Long term, sure, could be a growth stock potential, but as you can see, going all the way back to 2014, it's never been above where it's at. Even after breaking out, you would think it would explode to the upside and quote unquote go to the moon, like a lot of people say, but not really showing that type of performance. We do have another key level all the way back in 07, right before the 08 crash. which is about the $20. So you're only looking at potentially $2 game on this. I'm staying out of it myself. Let's go ahead and skim through these a little bit and see how they're reacting to our previous analysis and what to expect moving forward with them. AMC is something I'm not going to harp on too much. I'm not too faithful in this company as a business overall, but as you can see, it is finding strong support between the, let me reset my chart. Apparently I need to. Why is it doing that? Oh, there we go, the indicators. Let me remove those indicators so we can see the actual price. Finding that strong support that we identified at the, what level is that? Let's get in here a little more in depth. Let's see. At the $5 to $6.59 price range. A lot of people keep seeing this thing jump to $6.59 and they're like, oh my gosh, it's going to the moon again, but it cannot break those $6.59 levels, and I think it shouldn't. I don't think the company is valued worth anything more than that. Unless they took some of that money from that short squeeze that they obtained through their share offerings and actually used it to improve the business in some form or fashion. We talked about this a little bit on Saturday of some ideas that they could possibly do, and I think they should do if they expect to compete with the new streaming services, is making a streaming service solely, focused on releasing new movies to market directly through their streaming service. But that would require somewhat like a lot of trade agreements and deals with movie production companies to solely go through them, and that would require a monthly membership and a mobile app of some sort or application of some sort, like your Netflixes or your Hulus, in order to deliver, have that delivery platform. And people have to also be interested in it. So you can spend a lot of money on trying to build something like that, and then you have to confirm that people are, one, going to make the deal, and two, people are actually going to watch it. So big challenge here for AMC. I'm not going to harp on it too long. Some new stocks that we added to the list over the weekend, though, and our weekend session was DNN. It's a mining corporation. I had pointed out some key levels for, I think Shad or Justin actually provided this for us. But we went over, reviewed the stock, and we identified our levels that we need to break above. But one thing I noticed we didn't do is our current support levels we need to stay above. And unfortunately, we don't have too many established that are strong outside of the 83 cent levels. I can go back and look historically, and as you can see, it has played support levels before and was resistance and now new support. We have certain levels that stick out to me. I will look at this one because it's tapped it twice. Wrong. Let me fix that. At the 97 cent levels. Let me see where we're at. We've had some strong resistance mid-level around the 141, which doesn't really matter. We're not above those levels right now, and I don't see us doing that. So even if this were to pull back, it's 116 in pre-market, as you can see, pull back. We should find some strong support above the 97 or between the 83 to 97 price range for a potential re-entry. Let's see how we're reacting. We had a gap down just like the rest of the market. I think the SPY is still, like I told you, rejected all that 78.51 and came back down. So something to be concerned about. Even though stimulus is already coming out, I think that's already been priced in from expectation. A lot of buy the expectations or the hype and then sell the news going on here in today's market. So just because you hear stimulus checks coming out, people have already been expecting that. Don't think it's going to bring the markets up until that liquidity hits the market and you start seeing people dump their stuff in there again. Back to DNN, I'm sorry. Let's see how it opens. I'll watch how it opens. Let's see if we find support above the 97. It looks like we're in a downward trend to retest those support levels. As you can see here, EMA is showing. Even on the 1 hour, you're going to see the same thing. Strong. Yep, our EMAs are going red. We're most likely retesting 97 cents on this, so beware going into the week. With this one, depending on your position that you have, it's okay to take a loss to find a better re-entry if you have strong confidence in the company. Just make sure you don't take too much of a loss. All right, so Next one was APG. I really like the stock, and as you can see, it gapped up pretty strong above those resistance levels at the 917s, which is something I told everyone to pay attention to going into the week, was make sure we gap up above the 914 and find support there. Once the stock opened up this pre-market, we were well above that. Let's see where our pre-market time frame is. Usually highlights it for me. It's not doing that right now, but I can go in here and kind of look. This is the 19th still. It's not even showing pre-market data for some reason on this one, which is odd. Okay, I don't know why it's not showing that, but furthermore, just watch it in this diagonal channel that it's trading in. Make sure that we either break out above the 20, and even if it rejects, then we can expect it to stay true to that. But hopefully we find support and we trade in this direction above the support level within this channel that we're trading in, was the expectation here. We got about 15 more minutes. I'm going to try to speed through these. PFE most likely coming down today because the market's down. We actually identified this 3456 level of support and making sure of now resistance, but as you can see, it gapped down even harder. I think we had the expectation that it would based on its current momentum. Let me try to reshape this stock. I'm trying to look for previous levels so we can know what to expect moving forward. Let me get some of this out of here. You can kind of see the price action in itself. Strong levels that stand out to me all at the top are right here. As you can see, it's hit it twice, the 32, and then I'll turn this next level as the bottom line level of support. That'll be blue moving forward. Let's see how we react with the market pulling back today. It didn't break down too bad. It's only 20 cents below that support level we were hoping to find with PFE. But let's see how it reacts to 32.86 along with the market pull back that we're seeing today. I can refresh my trading log real quick and we can see how the markets are moving backwards. It's not showing my previous log for some reason. Let me go ahead and do another one. It's tracking it, so I'll see it at least by market open. But most of the time it's real time and probably a cache issue I need to fix. Another one we looked at was BNGO. BNGO gapped down hard this morning. That is not what we wanted to see. As you can see, it gapped down almost about 75 cents to that 1281 level. We're looking for the support to stick strong at the 1275, but if the markets, it apparently looks like it's reacting to how the markets are. So if the markets continue to pull back, which we can keep monitoring throughout the rest of the segment, is showing sharp decline. So anything that you saw gap down in today's review is most likely going to get gap down market open unless the markets rebound. Potentially back to the $12 price range. If it goes below that, because of the weight of the markets coming down, we need to see how it reacts to the 1117 to confirm its continued growth to the upside long term. BGI, once again, pullback, almost 50 cents altogether. We need support above the 273. We have some leeway. What's up, Steven? Welcome. I was just talking about you. I actually took a screenshot of you being on a Dude Man Bros investments video. I was going to send it to you, but I passed out last night. But I was talking about you with DPW and how you brought that to the group and how I even made some money off of it. We reviewed it. BGI pulled back, looking for a drop down. Let's find support above the 273 if you currently have a position in it. If you don't have a position in it and you were interested in that, see how it reacts to those 273 levels. And you made it to Coffee and Stocks finally. Yes, you have, and welcome. I'm glad. More the merrier. But if we don't find the support above the 273, you can find a potential re-entry down here if you don't already have one. If you do, I would look for getting out, making this potentially my stop loss. I don't know what your current position is or anything like that. So Socket we looked at over the weekend, new stock on the list. It looks like it fared fairly well, although it's not showing any pre-market information on the stock. I can pull up my TDA and kind of get a better idea real quick and see where it's currently sitting at. Let's see. Good company overall. Let me pull up the chart real quick, and I can tell you where it's sitting pre-market. Currently sitting at the 1185 level. So let's look at our trend analysis that we had on it from the weekend and see what I think I was stating that we could potentially pull back to the $10 levels, based on some resistance levels I found. Was it before, or let me see, where did I get that $10 level? Yeah, right there. Previous level of support, I'm expecting, and it became a level of resistance. I'm expecting it to find support there again before continuing moving to the upside and potentially reversing this entire trend that it's been in, this downward trend. We could potentially go back to the upside, to potentially at its peak, 40. What is that? $46 level. Of course, you have that crazy, insane $500 a share, but that's probably before they had any outstanding shares on the market. But let's find support above the 11 for a potential re-entry. PLTR going into this week. Let's see how we gapped up or down in pre-market. This actually gapped up, which is a strong signal that even though the markets are pulling back, this is going forward. And I identified this over the weekend that we need to find support above the 2970s moving forward. I think it's going to be able to do that even with the markets coming down. Let's see how that pullback on the market was earlier. Found some support here, but we're still finding that resistance above the 780, that 387.51. So back to PLTR. It was performing to the upside, the opposite of how the markets are reacting right now, but apparently it's having issues getting above the 30.38. I expect it to continue trading above the 29.70, between that 30.87. That's a good churn area to get a position into this trade. As you can see, once we get above 30.87, we could go as high as $39 again. Looking forward to seeing that for PLTR. I know that Osei in our free chat room has a position in the stock, and I hope it does well in regards to him making some money off that. We talked about Sundial. Gap down to 140 this morning. The entire market gap down, even though stimulus is coming out. We already think stimulus is priced in, so that's why we're not seeing the movement. We also talked about which is one of our premium member request reviews, which is more interested in looking at growth stocks in the future, and we think that this is a strong growth stock. Due to the fact that the market's pulled back this morning, if you look at the pre-market action on the stock, it had no response to how the markets reacted, which is a good definition of a growth stock, because it has strong resilience at its support levels, and doesn't have an overreaction based on how the markets are moving. We're looking for potentially support entry around the 120 to rebound and retest those 142s moving forward with it. Long-term stock, hold, Unity software. Michael, we need to do DD on you. I don't know if you have that on your list or not. ONTX is a stock that I added to the list myself personally. It was a stock that we released either on Thursday or Friday. Looking good pre-market. Had a slight drop, not too much, about 5 cents. So not overreacting based on market pullback, but looking for strong upside to the 187. Retest those levels for a potential 20% gain. Even on that accord, we're looking at about 25% gain, I think, to the upside if it hits 187 and continues moving higher. I think when we did a review on the stock, where we looked at the fundamentals, it was pretty sound company, but I liked what they had going on at the company. Looking forward to it bouncing pretty hard today. So we're coming up to 8:25. I'm already I woke up late, so we started late, so my apologies, but I'm glad we were able to review our stocks and see how they're reacting to our analysis that we're conducting in these coffee and stock sessions. And that's why I want to continue doing it, to show how well horizontal key price ranges and price levels work and help you identify entries and exits and trades, and not only just the entries but the exit strategies you can play in them. Help kind of gauge now coming back to live. Got you. Help kind of gauge, how stocks react to the markets, up or downs and volatility that we see in the overall market. Kind of gives you more bullish signals on certain stocks versus others that you would assume based on the hype or the sentiment on stocks would actually be performing better. That's what this kind of showed us this morning, and I'm glad that we had this to look back on. One thing I want to keep in mind, I told you guys we needed to find support on Bitcoin above that key level, and look what happened. Somebody actually tried to sell it at 46,000 a coin, which is nuts, but it broke its support level. So any Bitcoin plays today, you can potentially see a strong pullback. That can be identified most likely by that right there. Look at that. All the way down to $6 DPW. But these pullbacks are not necessarily a bad thing. They're just new entry points. But it's just crazy how I just was talking about Bitcoin keeping support above that level, and it broke down that heavy. That's crazy. And we're 5 minutes away from market open for people to actually, some people to even access stocks like DPW. Yeah, people are tripping out, apparently. So, yeah, look for a re-entry here. I might open the market today and buy an option call on it at this price level back to $10. Somewhere near $10 or maybe even in the $6 price range. Other than that, if you guys have any questions, we can sit here. I might just leave this running, put up a watch list. If you have any stocks you're looking at, feel free to add it to the chat below. If you have any questions about the stocks we looked at, feel free to drop it in the chat below. If we get done with this session, you can connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Discord, or TradingView, and StockTwits. We're on StockTwits too. All those links are in the description of this video. We can continue the conversation from there. Other than that, what I'll do is might take a quick break, intermission, go refill my coffee cup, and I'll leave the stream up because I've been wanting to stream a watch list for everyone. If anybody's willing to, just have it to the sideline, you can jump in and out of the chat if you want to. Of a watch list I want to share with you guys. And it's a liquidity stock watch list. It shows you where most of the money is going in the market, so you can follow those trades. And, always follow the money. And it's a watch list I want to share with you. It's going to update as soon as market opens. And I think I'm going to just let the stream go, and I'm going to back out throughout the day so you can kind of see some of the stocks that are performing based on that. So let me close this out. Let me reorganize this for us all. I'm going to give you also another quick glimpse into something too as well. Right now, if you follow our trades for watching right now, if you can, take a screenshot of these symbols, because these are the symbols to watch going into today, starting from the top to the bottom. If you can, take a screenshot of these symbols right now. I can't blow them up because TDA doesn't allow me to. So I don't know how well you can see them either. Let me see. Let me minimize some of this stuff for you. AGE, or AGJ, or AJG, excuse me, SEIC, SNDX, PTVE, WNC, LFC, SCPS, NWLI, ASPU, TEL, CBFB, and PDLB. Reason being is because if I pull these stocks up for you right now, while we have a few minutes before market opens, oh, well, 1 minute actually, I have my TDA pulled up here and over here, so I'm not really stressing. But we can look at one of these real quick, and I can show you why. Because you will find the setup that we target in our trade alerts. And just to look at this AJG, I was looking at it last week. Look at that setup. Look at that setup. I'm calling options on this to the upside. These are the setups we go after. So what I'll do is at the end of these live streams, I'll give you these setups. It's $58. If you're looking for something a little lower, SNDX is next. Something you could potentially focus on with a equity stake. We're looking at retesting $28. I'm doing this really quick because market's opening in 1 minute. So another one, PTVE. I think I alerted on the stock last Friday. And there's the market open. But what I will do is, for you that do decide to keep this open, I will leave this right here for you. And I'm going to go handle some some market open business myself. So let's see. Let's see if everyone sticks with us. And this is an automated watch list. So you'll see stocks come in and out of this going into the day. But for now, I'm going to take a break and leave this watch list streaming. I might bounce back in if I see some of the plays that we have reviewed breakout or anything like that. But for now, I'm going to do a quick intermission. All right, guys. Hey everyone, I see you're still with us. We're just watching the market open for a little bit longer, and then we will look over some of our trades that we have been watching. Thank you for sticking around. I appreciate you all for being here. Also, if you could, please be sure to, in the future, share the coffee and stock sessions on Facebook, Twitter, or wherever you prefer, so that we can essentially build the channel. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers in the next few months, and also hit 4,000 hours so that we can monetize this channel in order to continue providing all of our information free, whether it's our free or premium information. As you can see, the watch list automatically adjusted to different stocks because some that were on the watch list ended up breaking down, apparently out of that trend that we initially identified. And that shows you the effects of market open. I want to point that out. Let's see. But otherwise, I'm going to be on the side here for a second. Still taking that intermission. If you can give me a minute, and we can go back and look over those trades from this morning and how they reacted and what we're looking at moving forward. Thank you for waiting and your patience. Alright everyone, we're coming back online. I just have a few more things to knock out before we get started into looking at the overview. First and foremost, we're going to look at the market leaders and how they're reacting. What we can expect from those. Let's look at our current log. I'll refresh that page real quick. I wonder why it's not showing my... as you can still see, the VIX dropped back down 3%. Copper still up 1%. Crude still up 2.49. I think that's due to the current Texas issue and their energy and stuff like that. People are finding more sentiment in the oil industry over green energy. That's why we're seeing copper up right now. And I'm almost done with what I need to do so we can get into a little bit more detail on what's going on. I appreciate you guys sticking around. I'm truly glad to see some solid members that are sticking true to the movement and what we're doing here at Millennial Investments. I hope that this has been beneficial for you. If it is, please like the video, please subscribe. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified the next time we release any coffee and stock sessions. This is a little bit different from normal, where we are going into market open now to see how it reacts. 1 second and we'll go into a little more depth. Alright, had to handle some personal business here. Before we go into RMO, based on her requests, we're looking at the SPY bounce back up to the 388 levels, almost up $2. Currently green on the day from what it's looking like. Let me confirm that though. Russell going green. SPY looked like it was trying to go green there for a second. Let's see. Let me pull it up here. Yeah, we're still down 0.5% roughly, and looks like it's grinding back up. That's good for a lot of different people if it continues back to the upside, although this could retrace back down below those 387 levels pretty easily. I want to show the momentum. I pointed out to you earlier the fact that the stock price typically in a retracement back to the upside will run into that 34 EMA and could potentially bounce the downside. So something to keep in mind here. Just because we see signals back to the upside doesn't necessarily mean that it will be. Let me pull up. Looks like some of my indicators are messed up. Y'all bear with me. I'm trying to take care of some personal things real quick. All right, guys. SPY showing some strong signals back to the upside as it broke above the 34 EMA. Looking forward to continue to the upside. Bitcoin seemed to rebound as well, back above those $52 support or 52,000 support levels we identified before. Pretty sure this was profit taking going into the market. Some people don't have access until market opens. We're currently showing green on our side with our current calls. Um, Doing well there. SNDL coming up. DPW looks to be rebounding alongside Bitcoin. Tesla showed some rebound going into this morning as well. Estimated. Choose that option. All right. Tesla seems to be going up as well. Let me pull some of these indicators off. And some of this craziness that I've drawn on it. We'll do both. Showing some strong rebound, tried to bounce back up to the 768s, rebounded back to the 760. We expect that to bring some weight down on the EV market entirely, but as you can see, we've seen a nice pop back up for BLNK before consolidating a little bit, still coming back up though, showing some green signals. Currently oversold on the 10-minute, or coming out of that status on the 10-minute. Expecting it to find some strength right there at that $44 level. Speaking of EV plays, I'm going to go over RMO next. Expecting the same returns on it that we saw on Blink. As you can see, it tried rounding off and back up to the upside. This morning, I can go a little bit closer in. We identified the 1596 levels as a key level of support in which it broke below. We do expect that to become a new level of resistance moving forward, unfortunately. Let's see, cover, compress. All right, so go here. Currently doing two things at one time, so excuse me for the delays between these reviews. Compressed. Nope. That one. This is... Yes, I'm still here. I'm clicking on stuff. Man, state has stuff crazy. Birth certificate, married, other. Do that. Document for her. 8XL5U. Upload. All that's doing that. We're going to close this out now. I wish there was some better tool to use. But RMO currently sitting at 1491, showing signals back to the upside after dropping out from the market open pool. Let's see what our momentum looks like on it. Showing green on the EMA as well as the MACD and volume going into the stock. To answer your question, Miss Pandy, the lower we go, it's better to buy the dips with this. We see this as a long-term growth stock, being a lithium battery EV manufacturer. It's going to focus mainly on commercial. Another stock that we're pushing alongside of this is G-Tech and BLNK. BLNK being a charging station manufacturer and service provider. G-Tech focusing on industrial type vehicles such as like excavators and stuff like that. I actually did some DD on the company over the weekend. We expect those to correlate together. I'm actually up myself pretty well on G-Tech. I bought in around the 1220. As you can see, we're sitting at 1309 already. So we're expecting that to rebound with the Tesla, and with Tesla as it starts to reverse. Whenever it starts to reverse, that is, we need to identify that. Currently sitting around the, where are we currently sitting? 760 levels. I said it was going to go back to 768. I wish I held my puts on the call, but currently sitting at 760. We need strong support on Tesla back to the upside. The fact that the Tesla is now trading in the S&P 500, it trades differently from how it used to. Definitely a more slower growth stock in my opinion. We don't see it. A lot of people are expecting Tesla to go to 1,000 by beginning of April at least. If that's the case, it's going to bring up the rest of the EV market with it, such as your BLNKs, your RMOs, your GTECs, your NEOs, Nikolais, or NKLAs, stuff like that. Something to watch out for moving forward, or to use as a momentum factor moving forward, I would say. Um, so RMO is much longer term than our typical 20 to 30 days or even 2 to 3 month swing plays that we go after. Looks like we're seeing some pullback on Sandal from its most recent break to the upside. And if you give me a second, I should be done here with what I'm doing on the side here. I can hand this back off and we can continue going a little bit more in depth and see how some of these stocks reacted to market open. That's one thing I wanted to point out to everybody, is how something can be performing in the pre-market but have a totally different reaction come market open, especially with everything going on this week regarding stimulus checks, etc. SNDL is actually pulling out. I have some calls on it. That's the only reason I'm focused on it. Currently sitting at 153. OEG currently at 763. Looking good there. All right. 1 second. I'll be right back, and then we can get into a little more in depth as planned. Hey everyone, I'm hopping in back in and out of this just to let you all know I'm still here, and I'm glad you all are. As we watch the markets, and as you can see, Tesla's pulling back, so our EVs are going to pull back. It looks like Bitcoin and the SPY are pulling back together. And I want to point out something with Bitcoin real quick. It actually hit that 34 EMA I've been talking about on the 10-minute and reversed. So a lot of people bought into this probably thinking it was going to go back up, but this is something you want to pay attention to. If you can at least find that 34 EMA as an indicator on your list, you can kind of understand reversals and whether or not they're confirmed or if they're just fake outs moving forward. Something to pay attention to that I use very well. I use the 34 EMA. I use the 13, the 34, and 55 EMA on my analysis in order to determine my momentum. And it has played very well for me in determining when a stock is going to reverse or continue moving higher to the upside for us. And I want to share that with you so you have the ability to utilize that indicator as far as moving averages and how they can assist you in identifying those opportunities of potential buy-ins, potential reversals, pullbacks for sure, I think are more importantly than breakouts, because once a stock is green, you can just let it go and do what it needs to do, versus a stock that is already too high and you've entered too high and it's pulling back. You can control the risk to the downside. I have one more thing to do, and then we can go into more in-depth analysis on market open reactions, where we're currently sitting at with some of these stocks. I see Sandal still holding strong at the 152 level, which is what we wanted to see. It actually broke out a little bit higher than that. I wasn't even aware of it. Pulled back a little bit because it was going into the oversold status. We broke up to about 160. OEG, let's see how we reacted here. Pulled down out of the trend, so still going downwards. Not what we hoped there. Let's see what Zom did. Zom pulled down on market open, rebounded below that trend line that it's been trading in, currently trading at 226. Not too far under the about 4 cents lower than the close on Friday. NXTD, same situation here. Let me finish doing what I was doing, and then we can really look at these a little bit more. Clear queue, upload file. This upload. But Zom actually looks like it's potentially breaking out here, based on what the EMAs are showing me, the MACD correlating that. I noticed earlier I removed my intra-bar volumes apparently, or they're just not showing up for some reason. Let me see if I can get them back in here. It's saying an error, which is weird. Let me reset my chart. No, it's not gonna give it back to me, huh? Okay. 1 week, 1 day, 5. I'll re-add the indicator. Oh no, not symbol. Where is it at? Intro bar. Invalid type. What did not? Oh, I'm sorry. Social security card upload. All right, so that should. 1 second. Let's see. Pull back. That's what I need. What was it? 1 week, 5 day. And I've already forgot. That's something. Why are you doing that? Weird, super weird. TV is not playing for me today. Let me refresh it. Hopefully it didn't autosave. Huh? Yeah, it should be good. Alright. It didn't correct it like I need. It's right there. 1 week, 1 day, 5. Future notes. Use classic. Let me see if I can get this back up here. This really helps in identifying for those of you that are still with us. Who's all still with us? If you'll let me know. If you're still here or if you just got this running in the background. Am I talking to myself? What were those again? Oh, the EMAs, the 13, 34, 55 EMAs. That is the 13, 34, 55 EMAs that I use. Based on Ms. Pandy's request, we will be going over RMO a little bit more in depth. I didn't get to do so as much as I wanted to. Currently down 30 cents this morning. Of course, that's because Tesla is bringing everything down. Tesla currently being down to 746, which is crazy. It's almost down $100 over the past week and a half. It's been weighing down on the EV market very strongly, which we actually called on RMO, I think, about the 1596 levels. I can pull my dashboard up here and kind of get an idea of where we were at with it. Actually, I have a spreadsheet open of it over here. Let's look for RMO real quick. Actually, we alerted on RMO when it was still at $18, so we're doing actually terrible with the stock, but we believe that it's a longer term play and we want to let it play out. Of course, we could cut losses. We did have a suggested stop loss at 5%, and hopefully you follow those guidelines in order to protect your own risk. We're taking risk in the trade because we think that it's worth more than what the price is now. We're holding on to it and potentially buying. That's what we're currently looking at doing, is buying more industrial. Still here for another 30 minutes or so. Thank you all. I'm sorry for the long hold. I wasn't even expecting on going live throughout the market open. It's just something I wanted to test to see if people were even interested in doing that. If you are interested in doing that, we can at least start maybe a little bit later, about 7:30, and then that way our hour leads up to 8:30 market open, so that we can plan pre-market and then see how market open reacts, and give us a little cushion there to see, whether our trajectory sticks to our trend or not, if that makes sense, going into market open, if everybody else is seeing the same thing that we are, or if we're seeing other signals. One thing that is standing out to me is I think RMO is probably going to go oversold one more time on the lower time frames. On the 4-hour, I'm seeing, what I'd like to point out on RMO is I'm currently seeing a trend up, if you're looking right here. MACD showing strong trend to the upside. We're very low on the MACD right now, so we have nothing but upside moving forward, and that's why we have faith that the stock price will come back up. We're actually shooting for 24.15 at least, just on the swing trade that we have included in this. Of course, it broke down on us, like I said. One of a few that has done that. But we look forward to it actually performing much higher than those levels. As you can see, it reached 39.71 on the initial news that it would be providing, focusing on batteries for waste management type EV vehicles. And that's what they're focused on, is more commercial industrial EVs. But just looking at the chart, let me pull, I got my intraday volume. We're seeing a lot of sell-off going on here. But let me pull this out so we can actually focus, not everything, just the indicators. We can actually focus on the trends that we were focused on before. I actually want to make an adjustment to my predictions here. If this does pull back anymore, I'm wanting to find support around the 13.15. If I don't, I'm pulling out of the trade. For those that are in it, and I'm just gonna cut my losses. I had faith in this company because of their mission, what they're what they're trying to accomplish. I don't think that we're going to retest it, but I'm not always right. So, don't hold me to the cross if I'm wrong on this one. But I just have faith in the EV market and what that's going to bring to the future. Tesla has been a great example of what a consumer type market can look like. What I don't think we've seen heavily invested in, or have yet to see heavily invested in, is the industrial commercial markets. And that is much more fruitful than just your consumer market, because like I said plenty of times before, in a commercial market, pretty much one family is going to buy one Tesla on average, and that's if they can even afford it. But when it comes to commercial industrial type EV vehicles, you have commercial companies that are able to buy fleets, international companies that are able to buy multi-country fleets and stuff like that. So that's why I have so much faith in the EV market. If you look at something like Caterpillar, and I have a lot of faith in G-Tech. If you look at Caterpillar, currently up this morning. This is everybody knows what Caterpillar does. Well, what G-Tech is doing is focused on EV industrial vehicles just like this. And I alerted on the stock last week. People told me I was crazy and that it was coming back down. I bought the stock at 12.20, and I'm still loading up with any profits that I have, because I believe this is going to be the next Caterpillar just on the EV side. Of course, Caterpillar and Cabelaco, and there's competitors in the market that are probably almost, that are pretty established. They're maturity growth stocks. So that means that they're almost somewhat, they won't have as much volatility as far as top line space. You know what I mean? Like growth to the upside as strong as this potentially could. This is most definitely a long-term growth stock for me. That I want to find an entry and hold for a few years and just let it go. I currently hold about, let's see, I'm planning on making like a position or somewhere around 100 shares is my goal. And I'm basically buying free shares from my profits that I'm making in my swing trading and my option trading. Of course, everybody knows here my new strategy that I'm trying is option trading to acquire more free shares into stocks that I want to hold long term. So, with my calls on Sandal, whatever profits I make, I'll buy equity stake in it and let it go once I find a good re-entry point. A lot of people don't understand what I mean by making an option call and then allowing the stock to go up and then putting the profits into the stock. Well, when I sell my option call, it's because I expect that the stock is going to reverse hard enough for me to call a 1 year option call. Of course, I can let this go out for almost up to 9 months before I even start seeing any theta. But if it hits my price points, then I'm fine. I will make that profit up until that time frame. Even if I buy this company, we can look at it now. It's at 150. Like I said, we're going to go through all these again and see how they reacted to the market. Currently sitting at 150. Having issues with that 155, even though we broke to 160 this morning. 155 has always been a key level of support recently. Right before that breakout, actually, I believe, and now it's acting as a level of resistance. But once we find the momentum to break above it, we're good. So I bought option calls on this. I have $1 option calls on it, meaning that it will always be above $1 moving forward. And that's for March 19th. I have $2.50 calls on the stock going into January 21st, 2022. What that means is I can capitalize growth on the upside, which I'm currently up 33% already on the stock because I bought it at the 126 levels. 33% up in profits, on the option. What that means is if I hit my strike point, I could close out some of these contracts to then buy an equity stake. And I bought more than one contract. I bought multiple contracts at that level because of the fact that I can basically, if it hits 100%, I can sell half of the contracts, buy an equity stake in the company, and still have the other contracts running and collecting money over time. Which I think the delta on it, meaning for every dollar it goes up, the amount of money I add is actually at $1 or somewhere near that. I can check real quick. Let me see. But it's pretty healthy, regardless of what it's at. Don't hold me to the cross for being wrong on this one. Let me see what it is. It's currently on this particular contract. It's for every dollar it goes up from here. For every contract I have, I make $67. So with that $67 move, I can buy 30, 40 shares at a time for each dollar it goes up. Does that make sense? And then, if this goes to $30, $40, that explains my mission here. We're currently seeing some pullback, though, back to retest those 155s. I think we might find the momentum to break above it today and go into the week strong. There's been a lot of talks amongst senators about decriminalization across the board, even deeper, forgiving felonious charges that have been given based on marijuana. So the deregulation is really going to push up the weed market, regardless of the social sentiment movements that went behind it a few weeks ago. And apparently they're saying that TLRY is one of the largest growing companies in the weed market because of the merger that it's currently taking on with APHA, I believe it is. But until that happens, I still have confidence that SNDL is going to be a strong player in that market as well, setting up what they're setting up. A lot of people are saying that it's a dead company, but I don't believe it is. Going into OEG, like I said, we broke down below that trend that we were looking for it to stay above. Going into pre-market, we gapped down below it. Not currently showing, we're showing buying volume, so people are buying the dip here. That's what that's telling me, but it's not enough to bring it back into its current trend. And the strong line trend is what we were hoping for. And as it broke support there, I would wait for another re-entry closer to this 710 level is what I expected coming into pre-market. I think I stated that earlier. PRVB was added to the list a few weeks ago. As you can see, we're bouncing to the upside. I wish I had my option calls because that's right at the strike that I was shooting for. It was $15 or above. Of course, that disappointed me now, but you win some, you lose some. Had some pullback, though. Broke out pretty strong. I wonder why. I would like to look into it a little bit more. I will here on the side. Let's look at it. Zomedica Corp. We're showing signs of breaking out of the trend. A lot of people had a lot of confidence in this. We're looking at it on the 1 hour MACD. We're going red. We're already red on our EMAs, as you can see. And I know some people are going to have to leave here in a minute. I'm going to have to leave myself so I can go find some potential trades to share with members that we can get into. If you're not already, be sure to register your free or premium membership in order to receive our trade alerts on trades that we're actually initially getting into before they even have moved. We don't chase trades that are already broke out. Too much risk in it. Anyways, ZOM is actually breaking below that strong level trend line, which is a concern there. If we don't find support showing momentum to the downside, that's concerning, and finding support at the 212 levels. Because if we break below that, break below the 202 to 212 levels, then we're going potentially back to 148, and people are probably going to call me crazy for that, and that's fine. I'm not mad at that. You have your own opinion. We might find some support above that at 194, but depending on how strong the momentum is to the downside, if people start freaking out because it's breaking trend, that's where you see fear selling coming in. And the effects that it could have on the stock. So I'm going to go ahead and identify that stock. So, that stock price at 194 to rely on later, and see whether or not people overreact to it or not, or if they buy the dip on the 212 or 202s. NXTD, of course, it bounced back up with, I think this is a Bitcoin play if I'm correct, bounced back up I'm just doing trend analysis right now. I'm skimming through it. I have, as you can see, all these stocks to keep up with. So don't hang me. But bounced up market open after gapping down pre-market, and then was rejected on that, exactly on that 34 EMA. Like I said, key EMA to pay attention to, because just as you think something's breaking back out, it can be rejected. And if you see that rejection, you can most definitely believe that it's going back down. I'm not saying this is going to continue going down, even though the EMAs are working to turn red on the 1 hour time frame. So something to pay attention to going forward. I actually bought more DPW calls this morning. After it gapped down to the 590, I think I bought it when it was in the 580 right here levels. Concerning though, as it's showing signals of losing support at these levels here at the 599. But hoping that we find some strong support above this 574 before reversing and going back to the upside. Of course, Bitcoin had an amazing run over the weekend and is showing pullback there. We're still consolidating above those support levels that I identified. We saw that large sell spike early in pre-market as we were watching it. But as long as we find that support, as you can see, we are. We're seeing buying the dip here. People getting into the opportunity to capitalize on a better opportunity, price opportunity. Just to overview it, the SPY is trying to trend back upwards, but and finding support around that 787.51 levels that we were looking for, which is a strong signal. But if we break back below it, I can see this dropping out pretty heavy back to those potentially 382 levels to the downside. So something to keep in mind. But going forward, of course, Nokia pressed down some more, another 6 cents. We're at $4 flat. I know some of our members are holding on to this. I'm not sure if I would moving forward. I need to change this symbol back out. Let me go ahead and do that, because that's on a whole nother exchange. And put it back in its respective place on the list. And that is currently gapped down heavy this morning, like we saw. Tried to open higher, but then was rejected and brought back down to the $7.41 or 48 cent support levels is what we're looking to keep here, which is actually potentially a good, as long as we stay above that, potentially a good area to buy this stock at, because of the fact that most of the transactions that have been conducted for this stock have been around those areas. ARCC, let's see if we had a pullback here. We had a bounce to the upside there. I think this was a longer term trend we were looking at. Pull in our indicators. I guess I was wrong. Bounced right off of that. This gold line you see right here is the most, it identifies where the most transactions took place at a certain price point for a stock. Another key indicator. As you've seen, we've been bouncing off of that very strongly. It gapped down below it, found resistance at those levels, but eventually made its way back to find support. I feel like this is going to bounce back to the 873s and continue moving higher, for that simple fact. Right above that 8, retracement, we would have hoped that it wouldn't have gapped down below the 826, where you see it actually retraced off that initial breakout. AMC showing signals of trying to swing on the daily, but let's look at it a little bit more in depth. It was higher in pre-market, rejected in market open, showing green on the EMA crossover for a potential swing to the upside, but there's a lot of selling pressure in there that's holding it down in order to break out. So I know a lot of people are still hopeful on this. As you all know, I haven't been. DNN opened up pretty well this morning, back to the upside on market open 127. This could take the EMA back green. That would actually be the 13 crossing above the 34 in order for both of these signals to be green, to retest that 130, that 163, which is potentially about a 40 cents gain. That's about a 25% potential trade if it does it. Finding some strong support here, it wouldn't be a bad smaller time frame swing trade going into the rest of this week. Might look at it myself. Moving forward, APG doing what it does well. Gapped up this morning, but gapped down market open. And these are things. It actually gapped up even more, about 10 cents higher before pulling back. So we could see it gap back down to the 1935s before continue. Well, I would say 1940s. The EMA and the stock price meet about that point. I try to give it like a 50-50 separation. Pfizer opened up, gapped down heavy before market open, but kind of corrected itself, finding issues staying above those 34.29 levels, though. That's a concern. As you can see, 34.28 has played a key role before. This could potentially become a level of resistance now moving forward. And keep that in mind if you're currently invested in it or looking to invest in it. BNGO actually started reversing from its gap down, but opened up on market open and gap back down again, or lost what it gained right before market open, and is currently still working to retest those 1275 levels, which we hope to find strong support moving forward. If we don't, we could break back down heavy to the 1214 before hitting 1117 if the momentum's too strong to the downside. BGI actually gapped up and pulled back on market open, still showing an upward trend, strong to the strong side, to the upside, excuse me, but looking like it's having some rejection moving higher. I want to bring my indicators back in to show me my flow. So gap down, market open, gap down more, hit that support level at 273 and bounce hard up on market open. So it looks like our key levels played a great part here and going back to 366. So I want to correct myself in that statement. Somebody brought up socket over the weekend. Let's see how we reacted to market open. This kind of gives you an idea of, like, people have had time to sit over the weekend and think about their positions in these trades and making their determinations moving forward. I feel like Mondays always give you an idea in the direction of the strength behind the momentum in these stocks. Looks like we laid even. We're playing even on those 1211s. Make sure we stay above that if you currently have a position in it. That's what I would look for. PLTR is something I'm interested in seeing how it reacted. It actually pulled down. I think I said that in pre-market. If we break below that 2970, we could potentially go back to the 25s. Although there may have been that 2740 I may have identified. I'd have to go back and review the footage. But as you see, we have a hard pullback. There was a lot of expectation this would continue to the upside. Probably potentially churn, find support above that 2970 and churn between that 2970 and 3087 before moving higher back between the 3087s to 3921s. So unfortunately, that did not occur. It looks like U is actually breaking down below those levels that I wanted it to stay above for us. I know Miss Pandy had a looking for a position in this trade. If I were to say anything, watch out on the downside to the 115. Momentum could swing this much further below it. As you can see here, same thing happened. It dropped an additional $3. Potential re-entry around the 112 based on that analysis. But make sure that we're finding support on that 112 on the downside. The reversal. You can use the 13, 34, and 55 EMAs to determine that. Start from if you're looking at the overall view, look at the daily, go down to the 4-hour, 1 hour, and then 10-minute. 10-minute confirms that the 1 hour reversal is in play. 1 hour confirms that the 4 hour, and so on with the daily on the 4 hour. ONTX broke down this morning a little bit lower than we would hope to potentially retest that 151. I think I said that earlier. We might have a small pullback on it, but we're looking forward to continue moving forward to those 187s and continue moving higher. We don't have previous historic data on this stock to point out any key level, so it's kind of up in the air. Snowflake broke down heavy, very heavy. It broke that trend that we were pointing out, and that calls for the pullback here. Let me pull back on it to see how we have reacted to these 275 levels before. 276.50 was a strong level that it found support on a major dip, is why I would want to focus on that level. and that's where the price is currently. So if we don't see a reversal, just like we did here, over the next 30 minutes or so, then we're going back to retest these 267 levels on the trade. Somebody was looking at SFTW from this morning. That was Justin. While you're here, you see that we bounced up above the 16 this morning, and we caused some rejection there, staying above those levels. Currently consolidating and compressing on the EMAs here, so we could potentially go back to the 1475s for that re-entry I think I identified for you. Just make sure the momentum's not too strong to the downside where we break that support level. And it's okay if we do and consolidate and pull back down to this 1342. That's fine, because then you can find a better entry between this price range right here and allow it to continue moving forward. Of course, this is a SPAC. SPACs are strange. They break out off initial merger news. People buy into the expectations and sell the news. So be careful with these SPACs moving forward. Who all do we still have here while I'm continuing moving forward with this? I think we had Shad, who requested we look at CLSN this morning. As everything else did, it dropped down but found some support around that 279. You see how it dropped below it and rebounded right above it. And now we're probably going to sit on that price level. I think you were looking for a position to go into this trade based on the news they released. Well, good news. I mean, it's a cancer play. Cancer plays are typically always strong. We can probably find some strong support around here to continue to the upside. I would actually dig down deeper into the smaller time frames to see how it's trading there. Make sure, I wish you had this indicator, because this would tell you basically the momentum of the trend, these green arrays that you're looking at here. Of course, man. Thank you all for being here. You know what I mean? I'm going to spend about 2 more minutes, and then I'm going to get into finding some potential trades. But thank you all for being here and sitting here this morning. What do y'all think about starting at 7:30 versus 7 o'clock and going into market open? That'll give us an hour to prepare. And then seeing how things react to the market open and stuff like that. What do y'all think about us doing that? Oh, as you can see while we're looking at it, Shad, we bounced back up 286. We're showing signs back to the upside. Although we are seeing a lot more selling volume than buying volume. People are buying up that whatever anybody's selling. That's what I'm seeing. But what do y'all think about the coffee and stock sessions? If you could provide me with your quick feedback while we have a few more minutes here. Is there anything we can improve on? Is there anything you would like us to do differently or add to it? Anything that you would look for going into, the mornings, especially on our Saturday sessions? If there's any feedback, feel free to let us know that, please, because we want to continue to improve this to not only benefit us but to benefit you. That's what this is mainly focused about, is benefiting you. So if there's anything that you're looking for specifically out of this, would be better to go over before market open. Okay, so would the 7 to 8 a.m. and then 30 minutes into market open be good for everybody? Is that what we're looking for? I don't expect to sit here 3 hours every morning, because I have a lot of work to do. But I would. Let's watch this. I want to watch this live while we're waiting. Sure. Okay. That's what we'll do. We'll start at 7, lead up till 8. I'm sorry. I think it's honestly better we start at 7:30 and go to 8:30. That way we have that additional 30 minutes from 8:30 Central Time to 9 a.m. to see how the trades react. I want to see how my hang up right now is how to identify what is worth looking into. Okay, so to answer your question real quick, Justin. To answer your question, that is our main focus with the trades that we present, is identifying trades before they move. A lot of people identify trades after they're moved, after they're already gone, after they already broke out. Perfect example is this one that we're looking at right here. Like, I would not be pushing this trade to anybody. I'm just only giving you advice on key levels, potential entries, potential movements to the upside, current trend analysis, fundamentals, things to help you understand what you're risking or putting at risk, and how confident you can be about, you know, the risk you're taking, as well as how to manage that risk to lower your risk ratio. And looking at this right here, we're bouncing right off of that 279. So that's what we focus on. Back to my point, we focus on stocks before they move. And then once they start moving, that's when you see the volatility come into it. Perfect example, like FCell or SNDL, which were both alerted back all the way back in November, December, almost 2 months to the date, on some of the 2 to 3 months to the date on their stocks, because the day is 22nd, right? So I think both of them were actually done on the 22nd or the 25th or something like that. But we got into them. They're actually pretty high for where they were currently at, but we knew they were going to be strong EV plays, and we knew that the administration coming into the White House was going to be following, really pushing the EV market. But anyways, we found that stock, and it was before all the volume came into it. So we find stocks before volume comes in. So if you are a member of our investment platform, some of the stocks you may look at them and be like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? Of course, we break all that information down and kind of give you the insight on that. But it's stocks that are showing momentum to the upside. Like, I can pull one up right now. I'm going to pull our lower price range in. HRTG. And as you can see with the stock right here, on the daily, I'm going to pull most of these indicators out. We're showing a swing to the upside. What I would do is go in and dissect this real quick. I'm probably going to alert on this as our free trade alert anyways. So for our premium members, please do not be upset that I'm sharing this information now, because it's going to be free anyways. But it's very easy to identify our price range that we're trading within. We're currently at 50% of that price range. We have about $2 to the upside, which gives us about close to 20% swing trade. We know that if we retest the 11,808 here, we're going to break back out. And then we can look back at previous price trends to identify other levels. Once you identify your main level of your top line of your price range that you're trading in, and your bottom line, let's turn those, we'll turn them orange and green, okay? And then moving to the upside, I wouldn't identify this as my level of resistance to focus on, because you got to keep in mind that previous support levels are most likely going to play as new resistance levels, if that makes any sense. You can identify these up here just so you're aware of them if we make it up to that price range. But what you want to focus on is this right here. These dips of support where people bought back in. But as soon as the stock broke below it, it dropped out. So I'm expecting if we're able to break above the 1108, we're going to have issues between the 1108 to 1186. Now this could be our max that we could win off of this trade, which almost gives us essentially a $3 trade, about 30% on the swing. We're only targeting the 1108. That's our exit strategy. If it's showing momentum to continue above that, then we'll let it run. We might scalp our 20% profit right here and let the rest go to the upside, to the 1186. And see how it reacts to those levels before breaking out higher. And then at that point, you can identify this key level of resistance. And I only focus on this one versus this one, not because it's higher. It's not about higher price points. It's about consistency. So this consistently retested these levels and found some type of rejection where it wasn't able to find support, and it essentially is still a level of resistance. So what I'm looking for in this simple trade is swing to the 1108, test these resistance levels that it's had issues on, and then swing to the upside. Now, one thing I am seeing here is a A, B, C before breakout. So I'm thinking A, B, C, swing breakout to the upside. All right. We might churn through here, retest this 3 more times before we break out to the upside again. Now, one thing you have to consider in risk management is the fact that company can release news things can happen in the market to cause your trajectory to be altered from the direction it's currently going in. That's where volatility comes into play. But back to my point, we might churn here, but we could potentially go to the 1361, which would essentially give us close to about, what is that, $4 or $5 on the trade. It has to meet all those confirmations first before we can confirm that. But as long as it hits this first trend line, we're already up 20%, oddly or so. Does that make sense? So we're already green, and we can allow it to continue moving forward if we scalp that profit that we gained off of it, and allowing what's left in the investment to retest these levels. So then, once you go green, you just let it do what it's going to do. If we do churn here, that's cool. Let it churn. As long as it doesn't break back below this level. If it breaks back below the 1108 after passing it, sell the whole trade. Lock in the entire profit. 20% swing trade. If it churns and breaks above 1186 and rejects, sell it there. Or allow it to churn and retest it. As long as it doesn't go below 1108, you're good. You can let it go. If this is all, I hope this is all making sense, because you can allow it to be rejected at the 1186 multiple times before it does break out above that, and then now you're swinging to the upside for a potential 40 to 50% swing trade. Now that may take time, as you can see. It's been since. Let me see how I can look at it from a time perspective. It took from October 23rd, November 25th, October 23rd, October, November, December, January, February, where we will potentially retest this going into March, mid-March, I would say, before it breaks out. So it took 6 months on this swing, but you have potential 50% on the investment. So then you got to account for how much money you're willing to put aside into a trade like this and allow it to sit there. Even if you put, let's say you have $500 available and it jumps to the 1108, well, you already made what, 20%? That's an extra $100. You can scalp that profit, pull that out, and let the remaining $500 in equity shares that you own continue to retest those levels, like I said. If it bounces up another 1186, pull $50 out. That's another, essentially, 10% on the trade. Pull that profit out. If we go up from 1365 to 1361, I would scalp another 25% because we're up 50% from its initial share purchase, and we're capturing half of those profits. So you see how you're tiering up your profits and how you're scalping them and pulling them back to secure them. And then you're identifying your levels to say, okay, once it hits this level and it goes below it, boom, I'm out. If it breaks up above 1186 and it goes back down and starts, if I want to pull out, I'm already up 30%. Boom. It's an okay trade. If it goes down, it goes down. If it keeps going up, it keeps going up. But at least you hit your targets. That's what it's about. Entry, finding the best entry, and then having an exit strategy. And being comfortable with the exit strategy. That way you're not disappointed if it goes up even more and you miss more money. And you're not going on this going to the moon whole thesis that's going on across the entire market right now. I am actually losing money from someone. I need to find out who. SNDL. SNDL is currently sitting at 148. That's fine. Those are long-term options. I'm not stressing about those. Looks like I am pulled back a little bit on GTech. There's potentially another entry into that. I'm highly suggesting that trade. But, I wanted to show you this to give you an example of how I go in looking at trades. And I actually messed up earlier where I was going to show you our liquidity stock watch list. We'll pull that up tomorrow in tomorrow's trading session. And instead of having like the intro screen, I'll have the watch list up first. That way, if I'm a little late like I was this morning, you'll at least have something to be reviewing and trades to look at. Finding trades also. One thing I want to share with you guys, if you are a premium member, I want to hold a session to help you find liquidity stocks. I'm going to create a watch list on the dashboard for you that focuses on liquidity stocks. And if you look at it on your dashboard, Of course, we're building a mobile app. We're going to have it there too. But as of right now, while we're waiting for that, if you go to your dashboard, I'm going to have it show the liquidity stock scanner results. And what that's going to do is if you look at it pre-market, you're able to identify where most of the money is going before the market even opens. And those that receive the most money are most likely going to take off, perform better than the rest, even if they see low liquidity investments within the stock in the actual market session itself. That's one thing that I've started to see, a strategy I'm testing, something I want to share with you, something we'll do more on the premium channels that we just recently set up last week. So something to keep out, to look out for. For you, for anybody that's a free member, that current watch list that I shared with you earlier, this one here, we have a larger list that we actually follow. This is what you're looking at now, the 30-minute. It actually scans the 1 hour, which actually scans the 4 hour. And if we look at the 4 hour, it should populate pretty heavily. It takes a second because there we go. We start to see more and more. This is my liquidity stock result, liquidity scanner results. It's telling me how much liquidity has went into these stocks. So right now we're only about 2 hours into the session, and we're already seeing about 20 million in trades in this Eland stock. And if we look at it, let's see how it's performing. There you go. Now anything above $25, I'm most likely doing an option on. I would do an option on this to retest the. I would do a $32 option on this because I assume that it's going to retest. or you know what? I do a $31 option because that way it goes $1.50 above my target. And the trend line strong, recovering from the March. It's recovered completely from where we were before pre-pandemic. Has some good upside. Has traded there comfortably before, but these are just things that I'm doing over here. I'm slowly bringing y'all into it. I don't want to just dump a whole bunch on you, and then it's harder to retain piece by piece. So it might seem like some of this stuff is redundant, or we're constantly doing the same thing, but it's a practice. You prepare, you practice, you become perfect at it. So that's what we'll be doing. We'll be looking more and more in depth in things that I've collected over time that have helped me get a better edge on the markets before they move. And that's our focus here. Find it before it moves. Don't jump in it after it is. You can either, I said this before, you can either buy a drink or get a drink from the party, or you can buy the bar that the party is at. And we're focused on buying the bar here at Millennial Investments. We're 15 minutes over the 3 hour limit that I was planning on. I've got some work to do as far as going to find some trades. HRTG is most likely, since you guys are watching, HRTG will most likely be our free stock trade of the day. I will have to do a review on this, which will require me to end the live stream. Once again, I really want to thank you all for even sitting here with me for this length of time, going through all these trades, seeing how pre-market works in correlation with the market open, how certain things follow markets, and how to identify that to better have an edge on the moves. But if you would, please give me your feedback in the comments once this video is done uploading to YouTube. It's going to take a while to process, being 3 hours long. Please share with your friends. That's the most important thing I can ask you to do. It's not about you getting a free or premium membership or none of that, or promoting anything at all. It's about, all I ask you to do is share, give us your feedback, help us make it better for you. Support the channel is basically all I'm asking. So, if we can do that, then I can essentially give you all this free and not have to worry about, this taking up all my time and still having to pay my own bills. Because right now I'm focused on this. I should be focused on trading myself. But anyways, thank you all. I really appreciate you. You're more than welcome. And I thank you, most importantly, for even being here. I will be getting back with some video reviews today, so stay tuned to the channel. I will be catching up on anything that breaks out on our coffee and stocks watch list. If it does, I will be doing updates on that. We will be having another session tomorrow, just to kind of, if you go through today and you find more stocks that you want to add to the list, we can watch. Let's do it, man. It's not a problem. But the more and more we test, the more and more we can get a success rate at how well it works for us, and build our own strategies off of it and customize it to the requirements of our needs and stuff like that. But other than that, if you don't watch our videos today, feel free to join us tomorrow, 7 a.m. Or 7:30 now. We're going to move it to 7:30. That way we can do 7:30 to 8:30 right before market opens. That's Central Time. And then we can spend like another 30 minutes to an hour potentially seeing how things react to the markets and things that are shifting, and potentially finding new opportunities. If you're joining our live stream, then I will be sharing with you my watch list moving forward on the stocks that we've alerted on, and this same system has given us our success rate. So, oh yeah, I forgot. Did we not look at that, Mike? Oh, my bad, bro. We did not even look at it. What did it do? We just let you out in the cold, huh? Oh wow, looking good over there. See, you're making me want to drag this out even longer, bro. What did we say? What did I say Saturday? I said I wouldn't be surprised if this gapped up above that support, that resistance level, found support, and continued moving to the upside. Was that my exact words, Mike? I'm not sure if you're logging every word that I say, but I believe I said I wouldn't be surprised if this gapped up above this level of resistance, found support, and continued to the upside to retest the 169. Correct me if I'm wrong if I didn't say that. If I didn't say that, I won't take credit for it. If I did say that, then I will. I also said that if we break above the 169, we could potentially be trading between the 350. So that's next year. Of course, you're welcome then, Mike. You're welcome. Of course, I wouldn't get into this trade right now. I think he's already in the trade. You record every word. Okay. So was that my words from Saturday? Jesus. Oh, this is getting fun. This is getting fun keeping track of expectations and seeing how much you're able to stick to that or not. But other than that, guys, I got to get off here. I got it in writing and everything. Cool. Good. Make sure you add that to the DD database. Tim said it was going here, and it did. It did exactly that. But other than that, thank you all for watching. Thank you for taking the time this morning. We will slim down the time frame moving forward to at least an hour and a half with our target. Maybe with an additional 30 minutes, I may be able to add to the time slot, depending on the day and the current situation. Other than that, I hope this helped you make better decisions in the trades that you are going into for the rest of the trading week, as Monday is the most important day because it leads up to the direction of the rest of your week. I hope you were able to find some great opportunities if you weren't already looking at them. I hope this gave you more confidence in the trades that you are looking at making. But other than that, thank you for watching. I hope y'all have a great day. Good luck trading, and I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here.